Good evening and many thanks for joining me for the next 20 odd minutes on the Tuesday edition of Primetime News. I'm Michael Madimba. Bilateral relations lead the bulletin. Namibia and the Netherlands yesterday signed a letter of intent on a visa waiver agreement for official and diplomatic passport holders, as well as a readmission agreement between the two countries. Our correspondent Wenji Zubeda Kandanga was at State House and tracked the proceedings.
I'm really delighted to sign on behalf of the Namibian government, together with my esteemed colleague Ambassador Han Peters, a letter of intent on a visa waiver agreement and also on a readmission agreement between the Republic of Namibia and the Kingdom of the Netherlands. I can tell you that negotiations between our two governments on these two agreements started earlier this month, and they were conducted in a very cordial and constructive atmosphere. The negotiations will continue, and once concluded, I do believe that they will represent another very important milestone in the bilateral relations between Namibia and the Netherlands, but indeed the Benelux. And just to tell you a little bit what these agreements are about, the readmission agreement will regulate where necessary the orderly return of our nationals to our respective countries, and the visa waiver agreement will make it possible for Namibians with diplomatic and official passports to travel to the Netherlands, but also to Belgium and Luxembourg without a visa.
It's an honor for me to be here on behalf of Radboud University to sign this framework agreement together with the University of Namibia. In 2019, the first picture of the black hole was published, and Professor Heino Falke, here present as well, was one of the driving forces behind this. Some say even a bigger force than the black hole itself. Importantly, this picture was made using wave millimeter telescopes, and 8 of them were used, spread across the world, but one important part of the world is and was still missing, and that's Africa.
Moving on to corporate governance in the public sector. The Office of the Auditor General has unearthed discrepancies of close to 274,000 Namibian dollars within the Ministry of Works and Transport's Department of Works. The discrepancies involve 8 staff members during the 2021-2022 financial year.
A report of the Auditor General tabled in Parliament recently indicated that the discrepancies of 68,647 Namibian dollars was found between the principal debt reported by the accounting officer and the documents submitted for audit purpose for 8 staff members. It said 8 staff members with a total debt balance of 189,205 Namibian dollars was reported at the end of April 2021. However, the audit found that there were no recoveries of these debts during the financial year. It equally indicated that a discrepancy of 15,888 was found in the report amounts recovered from staff members during the financial year under review.
Moving on. Of former Namibian refugees repatriated in 1989 who have been camping at the Katutura Youth Center for close to 4 years since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic are enraged and demanding that government disperse the fund intended for reparations and resettlement. The group says this was promised to them after Namibia attained independence. Diana Kauta was on the ground and gathered this for us.
So the situation is very, very bad. As you know that, most of our people, we are Swatef and Kofut peoples, and the way we had been discriminated by our own government, and they failed to understand according to our problems. So it's where now we try by all means to visit, even to knock the government door, so that whether they can understand our point, or they can hear that, or they can, in which way should they are helping us. But normally up to now we didn't have a sort of a good image from the government. If you can see all those people, it's all people, and if as you can see, they are places where they are sleeping. It's it's uncomfortable places. So meaning, even a food or blanket to sleep, like now it's a winter times. We need all assistance, both sides. Yeah. But the reason for us to be here only for 2 things. This is our country where Namibia indigent. Why can we not be recognized as a war veteran like others? Why? And regarding to the 36 million, we were sharing all the three groups, Plant Fighter, SWATF, and Kufut. We shared that man, and then we ate it, although it was small. But when it's come to the Plant Fighter, when they were catered with their portion, we were not included. I swear now we are worried. Why we are treated like a slave, like refugees.
On to scientific and educational cooperation. The University of Namibia, UNAM, and the Radboud University of the Netherlands yesterday signed a learning agreement that will involve students from the two universities building telescopes. More insights from this insert compiled by Owenji Zuwera Kandanga.
The University of Namibia and Radboud have been working for quite some time together, but a very important development took place in 2021 in Namibia, in which the Namibian government launched its space science policy. And as a university, as our contribution, we decided in discussion with our partners that it was becoming more evident that Namibia needed to play its part in terms of taking advantage of its natural resource, clear skies, and skies that are free of light pollution. And so as the colleague has indicated, this project will build a telescope that is the first of its kind in Africa, the wavelength telescope, and that will enable Namibia to play a part in the larger body of high-level science that will be undertaken here. We already have, as a university, about 6 astronomers. We are having 6 more in training at different levels, and we believe that this MOU will definitely enable the university to play that high quality research.
What it's all about, but it has already been remarked earlier by my Prime Minister, Mr. President, that today you get 2 Prime Ministers for the price of 1. But this letter of intent is even better because you get 3 countries for the price of 1, because I signed not only on behalf of the government of the Netherlands but also on behalf of Belgium and Luxembourg. So looking forward to a fruitful start of negotiations and a conclusion of this very important agreement. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned for the business segment. Welcome to the Primetime Biz segment. The telecom sector leads the segment. A senior Zambian government official revealed that 4 Southern African countries have agreed to scrap mobile roaming charges as part of efforts to reduce the cost of conducting business in the region. The agreement between Zambia, Malawi, Zimbabwe and Botswana will become effective in August as part of efforts by the countries to create a common network area. Now, Zambian travelers have reportedly borne the brunt of high internet and mobile roaming tariffs, which will now be addressed through the decision. The official added the initiative is also part of efforts towards turning Africa into a single digital market. Moving on. First Lady Monica Geingob says Namibia Desert Diamonds, NAMDEA, is committed to continuously contributing to the socio-economic upliftment of all Namibians. During Akita's visit to the diamond entity earlier today, the First Lady was taken on an in-depth tour of the company's operations and given insights into the future trajectory of the entity. Our reporter Damona Kankanjira was part of the proceedings and filed this report.
And the challenge between the first and the second economy is there's too few people in the first economy. About 10% of our population operates in the first economy. 90% of our people operate in the second economy. And this is a risk for everyone in the first economy because it's not sustainable. The inequality that we all know, we're the second most unequal country in the world from an income perspective. It's not sustainable. With the rising youth demographic, we have to bring more people in from the second economy into the first. So when we talk about one economy, it's aspirational, it's not realistic, it's never been done before. But what we're trying to highlight is the huge difference between the first and the second. And as a country, we rely on companies like NAMDEA to do everything that they have as efficiently and effectively as they can. And not just focus on capital returns, but to also focus on social returns. And I'm proud of NAMDEA for what you've done in terms of the NAMDEA Foundation and how much you're investing. I understand that number has gone to 40 million cumulatively. And that's a sizable number. And I think when you do your job well of making sure that you have efficient price discovery, then you do more on the social return aspect.
This brings us to the end of our top news segment for tonight. Now, the weatherman predicts a significant plummet in temperature in the coming days. Let's take a look at how the weather conditions will shape up tomorrow in the weather forecast. Welcome to Sport Planet, the segment unpacking all things sport. We commence the segment with the AFCON qualifiers. The Brave Warriors earlier this afternoon lost by 3-2 to Burundi in the final match of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Namibia currently sits atop Group C in the AFCON qualifiers with 5 points from 4 games. The Brave Warriors will now have to await the results of the Burundi-Cameroon match later on in September to ascertain their qualification chances and participate in the 2024 AFCON edition to be held in Ivory Coast in January 2024. On to the Special Olympics in Berlin, where our journalist Hesron Kapanga continues to track the action for us. Namibian sprinter Louise Segaria and middle distance runner Finamakeni Hamutenya are now in contention to win Namibia's first silverware. Segaria reached the women's level A 200-meter final Monday afternoon after finishing 4th in heat 6 of that event. The Namibian sprinter, who earlier in the day competed in the standing long jump event, ran a personal best of 30.11 seconds to book a spot in the elite race of the women's level A competition. Her previous personal best was 30.33 seconds. Kudos to all Namibian athletes doing the most in the diaspora and representing Namibia. Your sports roundup is up next. On that note, we've reached the end of our Tuesday edition of Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. And do make a date with us again tomorrow as we update you with local, continental and global headlines. From myself, Michael Medimba, and the entire team that ensures this production is well put together, it's good night.